Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we are gathered here today to witness a most significant event in the life of Thomas Nelson Community College. We ask thy special blessing upon incoming President Shirley Robinson Pippins. Gird her with strength, vision, and purpose as she undertakes her challenging tasks and responsibilities. May she go from strength to strength in all her obligations, and do provide her with the spiritual means and direction to give her the opportunity to succeed and achieve in her special calling. May all of us celebrate this occasion as a time of transition and opportunity for this institution of higher learning and its students and this community. And may we acknowledge thy presence and thy power among us to uplift and to uphold all who lead and all who benefit from thy sacred will. Blessed art thou, Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who has kept us alive, who has sustained us, and who has brought us to this most meaningful occasion. In thy name do we pray, and together we say, Amen. Kindly be seated.
The Thomas Nelson Community College Board Proclamation. Be it known, whereas Thomas Nelson Community College is duly established by the state of Virginia to provide opportunities in higher education to all who may benefit. And whereas it is the tradition in institutions of higher education that a ceremonial mace serve as a symbol of the authority representing the spirit of learning and collegiality inherent in the institution. Whereas a mace was designed by Elvin All, graduate of the college, and was presented to the college for the purpose of bringing the full traditions of higher education to Thomas Nelson Community College ceremonial occasions. Therefore, be it resolved, this 27th day of September in the year 1995, the Thomas Nelson Community College Board, in its capacity representing the citizens of the Virginia Peninsula, does recognize the owl mace as the official ceremonial symbol of authority for Thomas Nelson Community College. Henceforth, the owl mace shall be used to authenticate the ceremonies or events of the college at official and ceremonial occasions such as graduation, convocation, inauguration, and other official occasions as shall be directed by the president of the college or the chairperson of the college board by unanimous agreement of the board. On behalf of the board for Thomas Nelson Community College, I want to welcome you to the inauguration of the 5th president of the college. Dr. Pippins, Senator Andrews, Chancellor Oliver, Mr. Wren, Mr. Holland, Mr. James, other distinguished leaders of education and business, local government officials who are here with us today, faculty, staff, students of the college, and citizens of the Virginia Peninsula. It's a great honor as the chairman of the Thomas Nelson Community College Board to welcome you to this very auspicious occasion. We gather here this afternoon to celebrate the beginning of the term of a new president of our community college, to celebrate the heritage that our community college has developed on the Virginia Peninsula since its beginnings in 1968, and to celebrate the future that our community college promises to our citizens. I've emphasized our community college because Thomas Nelson truly is a community college for the entire community. We serve the students and the community needs from Point Comfort to the western reaches of James City County. This institution of higher education has worked hard over the years to identify and serve the needs of our diverse population. With today's inauguration of Dr. Shirley Pippins as the 5th president of the college, the promises of the past are being kept, and new promises for the future of Virginia Peninsula are being made. Today's celebration is symbolic of the vast cooperation that exists to further the goals of education on the peninsula. We have with us the faculty, staff, and students of this college, representatives of our sister institutions across the state, representatives of education, business, and industry, and government whose partnerships mean so much to our success, elected representatives of the citizens of our service area, and many of our local citizens. I want to recognize a few of the people who are with us today, and as I call your name, I would ask you to please stand. I would ask that the audience please hold your applause to the end after the introductions, and at that time we will give all of our guests a warm Peninsula welcome. We have Mr. Jillian T. Sell from the College of William and Mary, Jacob M. Varner from the University of Pennsylvania, Larry Groves from the University of Virginia, Ann P. Rosser from the University of Richmond, Latia McDaniel Drury from Mary Baldwin College, Henry Ramsey from Howard University, Carolyn Blakely from the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, Ned K. Swartz, Bridgewater College, Faith R. Crocker, Sweetbriar College, Patricia P. Cavender from Old Dominion University, Louis Noyson from Christopher Newport University, Carol Somerville from Richard Bland College, Max Wingett from Patrick Henry Community College, Lois Blades Rosadow from New York City Technical College, James R. Perkins from Blue Ridge Community College, Bell S. Whelan, Central Virginia Community College, John Zackwin Jr. from Danville Community College, Marshall Smith from John Tyler Community College, Phyllis F. Mallory from Tidewater Community College, Charles Saraki from Grammerman Community College, Patsy R. Joyner from Paul D. Camp Community College, Harold M. Koenig from Eastern Shore Community College, S.A. Burnett from J. Sargent Reynolds Community College, Deborah M. DeCroce from Piedmont, Virginia Community College, and Nancy Blaylock from Averett Community College. Let's give our guests a round of applause. I want to thank you for being with us today. And for those of you who have experienced a name change in my introduction, you can go back and tell your friends that an attorney did an official name change for you and it didn't cost you anything. Our theme today is the pathways to success. Throughout the afternoon, you will hear about goals achieved, challenges overcome, and new goals with new hurdles that lie along our path in years ahead. We of the Thomas Nelson Community College Board are confident that this college will move with determination along that path under the leadership of our new president. Today, we formally introduce her to you so that you too can share in our confidence in the future and understand the important role that the college plays in our local community. And again, I want to welcome each of you here. There are other officials. I note mayors of some of the local cities here, other state officials. I don't intend to overlook anyone, but it's too many people for me to list all the names. We want to welcome everyone here today. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the Honorable Senator Hunter Booker Andrews, who is Senator from the Peninsula to the state legislature, who will be our first speaker.
Distinguished Chancellor, members of the board, distinguished academicians, students, my friends. I am pleased to be with you today as part of Thomas Nelson's Community College inauguration of Dr. Pippins as the institution's 5th president. And I may say I've had the pleasure of working with all of them, and I hope I have the pleasure to continue to work with them. Dr. Pippins is a first in 2 categories. We celebrate today in mentioning that she is our first female president and our first African American president, and we in this old community can take great pride in that accomplishment. As I think back on the past 28 years of Thomas Nelson's history and of my association with the college, I am impressed with the way the college has opened the doors to so many of our residents. For a significant number of people, higher education and post-secondary training would be simply dreams were it not for the opportunities that this college provides. I am very happy that I was able to play an important part and role during the past several years in trying to keep Thomas Nelson tuition costs so that it remains financially accessible to all of our citizens. I'm also pleased to see the comprehensive array of different programs that are available in fields as diverse as electronics, technology, and nursing to the traditional arts and sciences. The college's cooperative arrangements with our public school systems in articulation efforts and in developing 2+2 programs such as the Master Technician programs are second to none in the Commonwealth and indeed in the nation. The Peninsula needs Thomas Nelson Community College, and the college has done well in responding to our needs over the years. However, as the college inaugurates its 5th president today, and it is in its 3rd decade of service, it also faces an important crossroads in development. Increasingly, the college will be called upon to play a more active role in the economic development of the peninsula. The governor and the members of the General Assembly expect Virginia's colleges and universities, and especially the community colleges, to be more integrated to the relations to the Commonwealth's goals for attracting and expanding industry and creating new jobs. Industries are more and more coming to realize that their ability to remain competitive in a rapidly changing global economy depends upon a well-educated citizenry. Industries will be looking for its assistance in applying advanced technologies to the improvement of their company's economic performances. In short, they are coming to understand that their success in the information age will be tied to their access to knowledge-based resources. This community college's scientific, technical, and educational resources are all knowledge-based, and consequently, they form the fundamental ingredients necessary for sustained economic growth and the development of our region. The college must form effective partnerships with our business and industries so that the potential I have spoken of would be fully realized. I thank you for your courtesies, and I think we are well off into the 3rd decade with a distinguished lady leading us. Thank you.
I'd like to dedicate this area to my dear friend and colleague, Dr. Pippins, Pace Pace Dio, La Forza del Destino by Verdi.
qua giù al varroiatore e sul nel cielo scritto non ti vedrò mai più. Oddio, Dio, fa che io muoia, che calcare portarmi morti su in van la pace, spero quest'ora, in prego a tanto ad in prego a tanto ad in valla pace quest'alma in valla pace quest'alma in valla pace quest'alma in von spero. Sacro loco, la maledizione, maledizione.
All I can say is, wow, that was special. Chancellor, most honored guest, staff and faculty of the college, citizens, students, and anybody we left out. Greetings from the Peninsula Chamber of Commerce. It is an extreme pleasure for me to have the opportunity to introduce to you today a gentleman who knows what pathfinding for the future, setting goals, and cutting new trails is all about. I had the opportunity to meet Robert Holland last night for the first time, and I had read his bio, and it's impressive in view of the fact that I want to know how he gets it all done. And I asked him for his secret, and he said, read my book. I will. He currently serves on boards of directors for Mutual of New York, Trumark Manufacturing Company, Middlesex Mutual Assurance Company, UNC Ventures, Lincoln Center Theater, Harlem Junior Tennis Program. He is chairman of the Board of Trustees at Spelman College and trustee of Atlanta University Center. Now for his real jobs, we're speaking of a gentleman who was educated with a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering at Union College. He has an MBA in international marketing from Bernard Baruch College of New York. And as I look over his work history, starting back about 1968, he got serious about making a living. He was an associate partner with McKinsey & Company, where he managed global concerns surrounding operations, strategic marketing. He was based out of New York City, but he spent 2 years in Amsterdam, a year in London, as well as extended engagements in Mexico and Brazil. He then, in about 1984, moved into the chairman and CEO's position at City Marketing, a beverage distributor. In 1991, he became chairman and CEO for Roker J, a consulting firm to Future 500 companies. But I think the one that got national attention, and he admitted last night that the campaign still goes on, but he got the job, was when Ben & Jerry's determined that they needed a new president and CEO. And anybody that doesn't know Ben & Jerry's hasn't been to the ice cream parlor lately. And needless to say, the gentleman was asked, not only by myself, but several others, did he bring some samples? And I assure you they've been consumed. It is with great pleasure that I give to you Robert Holland, a truly fine American who knows the way to the future.
I was almost prepared to accept the fact that the acoustics would not be very good until I heard Dr. Sister Joan Wilson fill this place. And I'm now convinced, Senator, that you and I are neither big enough nor man enough to do the same. Thank you, Mr. Hoey. I was almost seduced into thinking that the next speaker might be interesting. And I said, oh, shucks. I'm very happy to be here with you on this fine, getting up day in Hampton, Virginia. Further, as I listened, I am reminded that for some people, the occurrence to them of specific events forever define their lives in terms of how people see them and remember them. For example, we all knew people that we grew up with that had nicknames that came from events like Junebug, Little Bit, Big Time, Skeeter, Slick, Bubba, and forever are known by those names. For some people, especially those in public life, it is events or actions by which they become known, and many times these are not flattering events. I can clearly see Gerald Ford bumping his head quite hard as he exited from Air Force One. And then we all know that he bumped into a lot of things. And in fact, in some unflattering comments by his fellow congressmen, he was known as a man who couldn't walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. For me, such an event that defined my life forward was becoming CEO Bob of Ben & Jerry's. Now, I was doing all right, mind you. I was a former partner of an international consulting firm, an entrepreneur that bought small companies, fixed them. I was also affectionately accepted as the brother chair of Spelman College, an institution whose Founders Day and my birthday are the same day, April 11th. Of course, she's a bit older than I am. It's now like I did not have a past before I became CEO of Ben & Jerry's. My private life is quite public. I'm very recognized, in fact, too recognized in the state of Vermont. On one occasion, I had chosen to go to a corner grocery store to buy a six-pack of beer to go and watch my beloved New York Knicks play in the playoffs. And as I walked into the store, I couldn't find any beer that was cold, so I walked up to the counter as this rather senior citizen from the state of Vermont was carrying on quite some about today's youth, how they have misplaced intentions, that they are not well focused, and they spend most of their life drinking beer. As she turned around and looked at me and smiled and said, "You're the new CEO of Ben & Jerry's, aren't you?" At which time she said, "What can I do to help you?" And I said, "I can't find the orange juice." 2 days later, I was interviewing a marketing candidate in a very far out of the way restaurant in Vermont. And all of a sudden, through the door, came a busload of little old ladies from Waco, Texas. And the first one in the door said, "You're the CEO from Ben & Jerry's, aren't you?" I spent the next hour losing the marketing candidate while I took photographs and listened to stories about their favorite flavors. And finally, on a United Airlines flight from San Francisco late one night, in fact, it was quite late. The plane was an hour late. It was 1 o'clock Chicago time, 2 o'clock New York time. I had just dozed off, and about 20 minutes in the flight, I feel a tap on my shoulder. And I look up, and I see the co-pilot. He said, "Would you mind signing my magazine, Black Enterprise?" And I looked at the magazine. It was the one that had my face on the cover. It also still had the property of United Airlines stamped across the front. And I looked at this white pilot and I said, "I didn't know you read Black Enterprise." And he said, "I didn't, but I will now." It's been even more of a change for my wife, Barbara Jean. She's a civic activist in White Plains, New York, in Greenburgh, where she is involved in not one school board or 2 school boards, but was elected to 3 different school boards at the same time. She's involved in fixing everything from community centers to child daycare centers to consumer complaint boards. In fact, she is much better known than I. I'm the rent payer, and my name is Mr. Barbara Holland. People who didn't know me would ask her, who is her date? Now, even her friends refer to her as Mrs. Ben & Jerry's. Now, certainly you're not here today to hear about Ben & Jerry's, but I must provide one more quick vignette. Ben is every bit the product development and marketing genius that he's made up to be. And his form of caring capitalism that he is touting is almost as visionary as it is real and bold. But on my arrival to the scene, for the first time, he has had to truly share his own limelight. Take my introduction, for example, which was simultaneously for the first time to the public, to the press, and to the employees. This is a very secret search for a new CEO. None of the interviewing was done at the company. And before this, the company had become very complex, too complex for people to be learning on the job, too complex for trial and error experiences. The employees knew it and were looking for far better leadership. The introduction took place in a conference room that was lined with lights, TV cameras, dozens of reporters, and 50 to 100 employees that were stacked up on rafters. When we walked in for the first time and they saw who would be the next CEO, Ben walked in front, and there was clapping, stomping, cheering, hooting, shouting of the employees. And Ben, ever the showman, began to sort of bounce and sway with the clapping because he was really into it. And finally, when they quieted down some 15 minutes later, he said, "That's the loudest, most inspiring reception I've ever gotten." And a voice that was unidentifiable from the back of the room said, "Ben, it wasn't for you." With that introduction began my 15 minutes of fame, and the clock is now ticking. Now, with this notoriety also comes responsibilities, which is precisely why I'm here today. Responsibilities that rise because for a while I will be given platforms such as this dais from which to speak. I will be given microphones so that I can be easily heard. And for at least a while, the audiences like you will come and listen. And I take the responsibilities that come from this fleeting notoriety very seriously. And I have chosen to speak out on 4 recurring themes. First, I have chosen to speak out loudly on behalf of the far too many amongst us who are in pain and whose voices have been muted. There is something compelling about small children, especially black and minority children, before they can communicate, because they represent most like those in our society who are muted. Think for a moment, this child who cannot speak. Over 60% did not choose to be born to poor parents. Think about it. Over half did not elect to be raised by a single parent. In fact, none of them went to life's wardrobes and picked out the color of their skin. They will not later in life choose to attend schools where teachers have low expectations and sometimes outright disdain for their presence, which represents a self-fulfilling prophecy that half will drop out before education, and many of those who graduate will graduate with meaningless degrees and useless competencies. And if they are black males, they would certainly not choose a fate that would suggest that at the current rate of growth, by the year 2015 to 2025, all, yes, all of them will be incarcerated in penal institutions between the ages of 20 and 29. Now, faced with these inevitabilities, would they or would any of us choose to take part in life? Think of them, children laughing and playing, doing children's things, eating ice cream, and looking forward to those expectations. These are typical of the muted for whom I feel compelled to speak out. Secondly, I have chosen to use this platform to give fresh daylight to some simplistic ideas and ideals that, though today are being overlooked, even in some quarters ridiculed, at one time they were emblazoned in bronze plaques and memorized in a different day by countless number of high school students in civic classes and in churches. Some of these ideals or ideas started out with or include the following: we hold these truths to be self-evident. One nation under God. Our Father who art in heaven, send me your poor, your tired, huddled masses yearning to be free. And I have a dream that one day, I don't know what happened to these ideas and ideals as we quickly become a society that is losing its capacity to care. As we move to a society that needs to have ethics retaught as a business course. As we become a society that treats laws as a means of defining the permissible by omission rather than being mindful of and guided by what was the original intent. Prime examples: the Constitution said, proverbially, that all men are created equal. Now, way back then, we should have known and been warned that the detractors would deduce that it did not specifically say black slaves and women, and therefore needed to be corrected. I am concerned for these ideals when the term family values infers the values of this country's majority and not the values of a far larger group of families of our global village. Thirdly, I use my temporary platform to talk about the critically important partnerships that are necessary if we're going to make a difference. Partnerships between the haves and the have-nots, the franchised and the disenfranchised, between the business community in general and our local communities in particular. Ben of Ben & Jerry's had a simple logic that makes this point by noting that you can define the institution that is responsible for the well-being of people in a society by looking at who is building the edifices during an era. Now think about that. First, the responsible parties for the well-being of society were the leaders of fiefdoms who built pyramids, fortresses, moats, and had armies. And over time, they began to coexist and then be overshadowed by the next era, which was the church, who built such edifices as the Vatican and cathedrals like the one in Chartres in France. Then came our national governments, who were responsible for the well-being of people. And they built such edifices as the Kremlin in the Red Square, the Reichstag in Germany, the Pentagon and the White House in Washington, and Whitehall Street and Parliament in London. Now it's clear where I'm going. If you look around and see who's building the edifices today, you see the Sears Tower, the World Trade Center, Canary Wharf in London. It is businesses. And therefore, by this logic, it would follow that the institution that is now responsible for the well-being of the people is business. On a local level, it is specifically the partnerships between the business community and colleges like Thomas Nelson Community College that is the model for the value of the business partnerships to the community and to the people at large. I therefore choose to take advantage of the platform you've offered to salute you, and I commit to you I will become a permanent part, you will become a permanent part of the message on other platforms that I am given from which to speak, and I will extol the virtue of this relationship. Finally, I'm committed to using my temporary platforms to speak out and recognize the remarkable accomplishments of people who are too modest to tell the world how capable they are and how impactful they will be. Such needs to be said of my good friend, wonderful mother, terrific administrator, and scholar, Shirley Pippins. As she is already demonstrating at Thomas Nelson, success is a journey, not a destination. It is a personal trip for which the traveler will most likely not see the end in their lifetime. For that trip will be measured by the fruits they harvest, not by the fruits they harvest, but by the seeds they plant that will bear fruit long after. There's so much more to say, and you've been so patient that I am compelled to recall my father's admonition regarding speeches. He said, there are only two benefits that come from speeches, and they both come from short speeches. The first, that if you're brief and what you say is deemed to be important by those forced to listen, you may get applause and you also may get invited back. Or, if you're brief, you will leave more time for the audience to do more important things than listen to what you have to say. So in closing, I offer you the thoughts embodied in a poem that I wrote 30 years ago, which for this day I dedicate to you. It's called Values. I would not take back a smile I give this world that no one sees. For to be seen is not my id, but that I feel. I could not exchange a single crusted tear for a million happy moments to be shared. For it is on them that I base my knowledge in truth and treasured values. Without such tears, how about which would I know to smile? All around can in darkness be thick, cold, and unyielding, yet awaiting the coming plow to pierce through, not to light, but for the granting of those green dreams that demand sun. Enough demand, and even God must acquiesce. I will not forsake a lone hope for the promise of accomplished fact, for without hope, even facts become mere digits in the compilation of a long past. I smile, not the satisfaction of the done, but that which must and will be long after. Thank you.
Senator Andrews, Mr. Wren, Chairman of the State Board, members of the College Board for Thomas Nelson Community College, other members of the Platform Party, delegates, faculty, staff, students, and friends and family of Dr. Shirley Robinson Pippins. It's wonderful to be here today to join in the inauguration of Thomas Nelson's 5th president. It's a special day in the life of the institution, and I know it will be a special day in Shirley Pippins' lifetime of memories. We have heard the wonderful testimonies of her abilities and experiences, and we will hear more. And I can tell you that these statements are vastly important, for they are what she is. I add my congratulations to those many others, and wish Shirley the many successes that she deserves, that she has earned in her short tenure already as president of Thomas Nelson Community College. And Dr. Pippins has already begun the fitting process, fitting within the campus community and fitting within the communities of this special place in Virginia. She knows what we are as community colleges in Virginia and the value of community colleges in our vast Commonwealth. And she knows of our importance to the people of Virginia as we serve nearly 250,000 different students each year across our Commonwealth in our community college system. Shirley can and will be a significant contributor to the heightened successes at Thomas Nelson Community College. Now, the inauguration of a community college president, as any president of an institution of higher education, is simply a very special day in the life of the institution. It includes many traditions and symbols grounded in the rich history of European and American universities. These traditions are important because they place what we do in the context of history and simply create a greater significance as to what we are about to do. The symbols become images, tangible reminders of, in this case, a part of our meaning, but also our responsibilities to each other and to the purpose of our institutions. We wear these odd robes because they are the tradition of an academic assembly. At first, they were just a mundane pedestrian garment, essential to warding off the drafts and cold breezes of ancient academic halls. Academic areas and colleges were represented by colors and styles. But today, the robes symbolize the rich traditions of scholarship and research, of great cognitive powers, of thinking about humankind, learning about humankind and our world, and our universe, not in silly anthropomorphic representations, but through the realities of science and mathematics and philosophy and literature. The robes symbolize our extraordinary responsibility to transmit the knowledge of our forebears and the learning of the past as well as the present generations, and to transmit this to all future generations, and our responsibility to advance understanding and knowledge, and to create new knowledge, to develop a rigorous and more complete understanding of what we are and what purpose, what meaning there is for us in this universe. Such are our responsibilities. The inauguration also asked various constituencies of the scholastic community to pledge support and commitment to the new leader of the institution. And we will hear those pledges today. Do not let those pass by you lightly, for they are hugely important. Important to Dr. Pippins and important to the institution and to the communities and people who are served by Thomas Nelson. I too pledge my support to Dr. Pippins, though in actuality my pledge is of such small importance when compared to that of faculty and staff and students, the community and her colleagues. You together can create greatness. You divided will only wither. Your collaborative genius, your celebration of each other's successes can create huge starbursts throughout this region, and in fact, across our state, our nation, and around the world. Together, you can be a vital force to improve lives, improve communities, and to create a means for students to participate fully in the American dream. And that is what community colleges are about. As I asked Dr. Pippins to come forward, I present her with two symbols, one modern, one traditional, symbols of leadership. Whether a person is Speaker of the House, President of the U.S. Senate, Chair of a learned society, a civic club, or a judge, the gavel in modern society is a symbol, for it represents the opportunity for a fair exchange of ideas and views in open and frank debate, where reason and logic and intelligence can prevail, rather than the cacophony of angry, discordant voices, where simply the loudest prevails. The reasoned exchange of ideas is a hallmark of our academic tradition, and so I present this gavel as symbolic of that responsibility. The traditional symbol of the presidency is a medallion to be worn as part of the academic regalia and symbolic of the responsibilities of this high office. It represents our collective belief in Dr. Pippins' high ethical standards, her commitment to lead while valuing the ideas and worth of those around her, and our collective belief that Dr. Pippins will be a leader of vision, of clear judgment and insight, a doer, an energetic thinker who can shape a vision and transform it into actions that will create a vital 21st century academic village right here at Thomas Nelson Community College and in each of the communities in this part of Virginia. I present this medallion to Dr. Pippins. By the power vested in me as Chancellor by the State Board for Community Colleges, the Governor of our great Commonwealth, and the most historic legislative body in the Western Hemisphere, Virginia's General Assembly, I declare Dr. Shirley Pippins, President of Thomas Nelson Community College. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join me in recognizing President Shirley Pippins.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Eric Green, and I'm the Student Government Association, or SGA President for Thomas Nelson Community College. I'm the elected voice of the student body, and therefore I'm here today to welcome Dr. Pippins to Thomas Nelson on behalf of the students. But before I do that, I have one confession to make. The first time Dr. Pippins and I met, well, actually, the first time we met, I was driving past the entrance of the school, rushing to class, and I saw her walking from the parking lot. I blew my horn, and she waved and gave me a big smile. And I was still late, unfortunately, but it was still nice to have my day started with a huge smile delivered by the student president. So I guess it was actually our second meeting following the Dean's Forum that I had the pleasure of chatting with Dr. Pippins as I escorted her back to her office. And it was there that I had inadvertently picked up two items that I want to take the time now to return to her. It was like, have you ever walked away with the wrong pen or the wrong briefcase because it looked exactly like the one that you own? Well, that's what happened to me. I went in and I walked away with two items. It was real easy because those were the same two items that I myself own. The first thing that I walked away with was this. It says student empowerment, and this is Dr. Pippins' goal for a student-empowered college at Thomas Nelson Community College. Dr. Pippins has made it clear that student empowerment is not going to be just a buzzword for the 90s, but a truly achievable goal for TNCC. The second thing that I walked away with was this, and it says student-friendly. And this is her futuristic goal for a student-friendly college at Thomas Nelson. Amid all of the renovations and upgrading that we have going on now at the college, there are definitely some inconveniences. However, these inconveniences are necessary rungs on the ladder for achieving a truly student-friendly college ever. These are the two things that I walked away with, because these two things, these two items, these two goals are also my goals: student-friendly, student empowerment. And Dr. Pippins is the president that we need at Thomas Nelson Community College. So now, on behalf of the SGA, the Student Council, and the entire student body, I would like to welcome Dr. Shirley R. Pippins, our fifth president, to Thomas Nelson Community College, and present to her these two plaques engraved with our goals for the future: student empowerment and student friendly.
Good afternoon. My name is Thurman London. I'm the College Support Staff Association President. We, the College Support Staff Association, welcome you Dr. Shirley Pippins, as president of Thomas Nelson Community College. We welcome your leadership, and we look forward to working with you in proceeding up the pathways of success in our community and in our state. In the past, the college support staff played a minor role, but thanks to former President Dr. Robert Templin, we became part of the decision-making process of the college. It is now accepted that all areas of the college family need to be represented. You have already demonstrated to us in many ways that you share that same philosophy of leadership. We appreciate those efforts very much. As leader of Thomas Nelson Community College, you will face a tremendous number of challenges. In facing those challenges, there will be times when you might feel alone. We want you to know and understand that you can count on our support. Your success is our success. May God bless you and keep you. Again, welcome, President Shirley Pippins. Thank you.
I'm Clarence Hunley, President of the Faculty Senate. Dr. Pippins, guests, rituals or ceremonies mark the milestones of our lives. They are exaggerated moments, such as weddings, baptisms, birthdays, or bar mitzvahs, marking a particular rite of passage. Joseph Campbell, in Myths to Live By, observes that, quote, "The function of ritual is to give form to human life," end quote. Ritual and initiation are closely related. The initiation story is pervasive throughout literature. The hero in the initiation story must perform certain tests to prove herself. Carol S. Pearson, in The Hero Within, 6 Archetypes We Live By, writes that, quote, "Heroes take journeys, confront dragons, and discover the treasure of their true selves. Although many feel very alone during the quest, at its end, their reward is a sense of community with themselves, with other people, and with the earth," end quote. Dr. Pippins' journey and our journey are now intertwined as we seek the treasures that education offers. Our presence here underscores our sense of hope and our sense of renewal that Dr. Pippins brings. This ritual today is an initiation. We are officially initiating Dr. Pippins into the culture of Thomas Nelson Community College. I hope she does not encounter too many dragons. The irony is that Dr. Pippins has already been thoroughly initiated into the rigors of this academic community. She has 2 enormous responsibilities as president of the college. She has the responsibilities of administrator, and she has the responsibility of symbol. She symbolizes Thomas Nelson Community College. It is through this dual role that she can bring a sense of unity to the college and to the community. Dr. Pippins, on behalf of the faculty of Thomas Nelson, I welcome you. The journey has begun.
Senator Andrews, Dr. Oliver, Dr. Pippins, platform guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Wren. I'm from downtown Emporia, and I'm the chairman for the State Board for Community Colleges. Today is a great day for Tidewater, a great day for this college. And I'm delighted to be here to bring you greetings from the State Board for Community Colleges. It's an honor to welcome all of our distinguished guests to this inaugural ceremony and to look out and see so many Thomas Nelson and Virginia Community College supporters who've joined us here today for this event. It's an even greater honor to join all of you in welcoming and celebrating the arrival of Dr. Shirley Robinson Pippins as president of Thomas Nelson Community College. I believe I speak for every member of the State Board when I say we're proud and pleased when she accepted the Chancellor's invitation last winter to join the Virginia Community College system as one of our presidents. It is clear from the few months that we've followed her appointment that she will be and is an effective and dynamic leader for this college and this community. The leadership role of our community college presidents play across the Commonwealth is a critical factor in the success of the VCCS colleges as they provide access to Virginians seeking higher educational opportunities, as well as resources for business and industry to retrain their workforce. The community college becomes a focal point for the entire community, with the president at the forefront in many endeavors that improve the life for all Virginia citizens. Dr. Pippins' distinguished career, including time spent in both public and private sectors, is replete with experience in community-based programs, corporate education, and continuing education for adults, as well as leadership, management, teaching, and faculty development. We're fortunate to have someone of her caliber join us and are proud to welcome her as the 5th president of Thomas Nelson Community College. Congratulations on this auspicious occasion. I'm delighted to be able to celebrate this special day with you and bring you both the support and good wishes of my fellow State Board members as we inaugurate Dr. Pippins and make her truly a part of the team.
Chancellor Oliver, honorable members of the Board of Trustees, President Pippins, administrators, faculty, students, dais, and other honored guests. It is with great pleasure that I send you greetings from the State University of New York's 64 campuses and 10 educational opportunity centers. Its Chancellor, Thomas Bartlett, and Vice Chancellor, Frank Pogue. We at the State University of New York are proud to participate in this historic occasion, the installation of Dr. Shirley R. Pippins, 5th President of Thomas Nelson Community College. We are not only proud, but overjoyed as one of our former college administrators takes the helm of this fine community college. Vice Chancellor Pogue, who strongly encouraged Dr. Pippins to consider the presidency at this college, wishes to extend his heartfelt congratulations because he is unable to be here today. I am sure everyone assembled in this great hall shares my exhortation and jubilation of the day. This auspicious occasion serves as a significant milestone in the distinguished professional career of President Pippins. She serves as a role model not only for African American women, but all people who aspire for greatness in our society. In fact, in keeping with the inaugural theme, Pathways to Success, Dr. Pippins is a superb example of what can happen while following one's pathway to greatness. Her pathway consisted of academic excellence, as evidenced as a Phi Beta Kappa graduate from the University of Illinois, as recipient of 3 earned master's degrees, and a doctorate from Teachers College at Columbia University. Dr. Pippin's stellar achievements have led her on to the ultimate pathway that will guide this institution to a triumphant apex of monumental heights. Thus, the poem entitled New Beginnings, written by an anonymous author, states, "Each day is a new beginning, another chance to learn more about ourselves, to care more about others, to laugh more than we did, to accomplish more than we thought we could, to be more than we were before." This sums up the extraordinary attitude that Dr. Pippins brings to her position as she makes a new beginning with the Thomas Nelson Community College family. The State University of New York, and especially the Special Programs community, extends much success and happiness to Shirley Pippins as the 5th President of Thomas Nelson Community College. Thank you.
Senator Andrews, Chancellor Oliver, Mr. Holland, President Pippins, other honored guests and friends. My name is Doe Henschel. I'm Vice President of Academic and Student Affairs at Pine Manor College in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. And it is a real pleasure for me to be able to deliver greetings from the delegates from colleges and universities across the state and from around the country on this important occasion. We are colleagues and friends of Shirley Robinson Pippins. Some of us have known and worked with Dr. Pippins for many years and in various capacities as her career has progressed. Others are more recent acquaintances who will have the pleasure of working with her here in her capacity as president of Thomas Nelson Community College. All of us share a respect for her uncommon abilities and an enthusiasm for the leadership she will provide to the state of Virginia. Shirley, we have high expectations of you and anticipate that in the years to come you will demonstrate your talents and lead Thomas Nelson Community College into the 21st century with intelligence, clarity of purpose, and creative energy. We expect you to be a skillful architect and disciplined engineer who will ensure that the structure of the college will support its growth and development. We know that your outstanding interpersonal skills and insights into human relationships will be your tools as you nurture and challenge the individuals who comprise the Thomas Nelson family and make it possible for them to realize their full potential individually and collectively. We will watch, and some of us will learn from you as you forge alliances that will benefit the college and the region it serves. Your advocacy for the needs of its students, its staff and faculty, its political and business constituents, and its educational partners will strengthen the college's role and increase its value to all. And we will listen as you tell the evolving story of Thomas Nelson Community College, as you capture the drama of its proud past, articulate the meaning of its present, and inspire us with its dreams for its future. We wish you well. We pledge our support and colleagueship as we celebrate this new chapter in your life and in the life of Thomas Nelson Community College. Congratulations.
Good afternoon. I'm Ivy Waters, Division Chair, Thomas Nelson Community College. The 4 poems that we give you today have been especially selected as symbolic representations of the life of Dr. Shirley Pippins. Composed by Alice Parker and to be read by Ms. Joyce Johnson, Women demonstrates the linkages with the strength of women from past generations. Offspring, written by Naomi Long Madgett and to be read by Ms. Janet Holden, and Good Intentions, authored by Doris Vanderlip Manley and to be read by Dr. Rennie Wolfe, are poems that illustrate the developmental milestones that have brought Dr. Pippins forward on her journey to the present. Finally, penned by Maya Angelou and to be read by myself, Human Family represents the commitment that Dr. Shirley Pippins has to the diversity that so greatly enriches our lives today and will continue to do so in the future. Please join me now in listening to the poems as we dedicate the words and the sentiments expressed by their authors to our new president, Dr. Shirley Robinson Pippins.
Women by Alice Walker. They were women then, my mama's generation. Husky of voice, stout of step, with fist as well as hands. How they battered down doors and iron starched white shirts. How they led armies, head-dragged generals across minefields, booby-trapped ditches, to discover books, desk, a place for us. How they knew what we must know without knowing a page of it themselves.
Offspring by Naomi Long Madgett. I tried to tell her, this way the twig is bent, born of my trunk and strengthened by my roots. You must stretch new-grown branches closer to the sun than I can reach. I wanted to say, extend myself to that far atmosphere only my dreams allow. But the twig broke. And yesterday I saw her walking down an unfamiliar street, feet confident, face slanted upward toward a threatening sky. And she was smiling. And she was her very free, her very individual, unpliable own.
Good Intentions by Doris Vanderlip Manley. Someday you'll tell your children about a woman who left behind a trail of abandoned projects. Husbands never sure of ownership, children never certain of devotion, carvings begun in heat and left unfinished until discarded in another move. Paintings she intended to redo to catch the true brilliance of the scene. Friends she wanted to help in time of trial, but managed only to blow a poem their way. Dresses she started making, but by the time she finished them, her taste or the weather had changed. Cookies burned to a crisp and cakes that fell when the housewife was submerged by the scholar. From this conglomeration which makes a life, what will you remember? A woman who no more substantial than a cloud, yet one who caught the sun.
Human Family by Maya Angelou. I note the obvious differences in the human family. Some of us are serious, some thrive on comedy. Some declare their lives are lived in true profundity, and others claim they really live the real reality. The variety of our skin tones can confuse, bemuse delight, brown and pink and beige and purple, tan and blue and white. I've sailed upon the 7 seas and stopped in every land. I've seen the wonders of the world, yet not one common man. I know 10,000 women named Jane and Mary Jane, but I've not seen any two who really were the same. Mirror twins are different, although their features jibe, and lovers think quite different thoughts while lying side by side. We love and lose in China, we weep on England's moors, and laugh and moan in Guinea, and thrive on Spanish shores. We seek success in Finland, are born and die in Maine. In minor ways we differ, in major we're the same. I note the obvious differences between each sort and type, but we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike.
I cannot begin to tell you how proud I am to stand before you today as the president of Thomas Nelson Community College. We come together today to celebrate a new day. The past has been good, but the challenges we currently face require new days, new perspectives, new ideas. A new day following a good day provides us an opportunity to build on the past and allows a newly developing garden with more sun, more care, a different voice, and a different landscape artist to further unfold. Thomas Nelson Community College is just such a garden, and I am proud to have been chosen as the new caretaker and landscape artist for this garden with such rich potential. I'm also proud to stand before you today reflecting other variations in this new day, in this new garden. A new day as the first woman and the first person of color to preside over the college in its 26-year history. Indeed, I celebrate and embrace the opportunity to be first, to be a part of history. I celebrate and embrace my differences and use the perspectives that my differences bring to further develop the Thomas Nelson Garden. My selection is also a reflection of the progressiveness of the Virginia Peninsula. On the peninsula where I now live, we not only embrace and celebrate diversity in the traditional sense, but we also see it as being in our enlightened self-interest to have diverse communities, diverse leadership, and a diverse workforce. We recognize that diverse perspectives increase our ability to see problems and issues from different vantage points, and therefore increase our ability to develop creative solutions to today's complex problems. Diversity blended with a quality, highly trained workforce and an outstanding quality of life makes the peninsula increasingly competitive in a global context and is part of the reason we can and will continue to attract companies like Gateway 2000 to the Virginia Peninsula. I'm also proud to stand before you today celebrating my pathway to success, an alternative path, a pathway truly reflective of the Thomas Nelson Community College tradition, because Thomas Nelson, like community colleges in general, is an institution which transforms students' lives. Throughout my life, at key points, I've returned to educational institutions to help me along my pathway to success. From driver's education at the very late age of 26, to recently securing my doctorate from Columbia University. Through these educational experiences, I have acquired more than content. I have learned to see the world through a variety of lenses. I have learned to understand the special issues I confront. I have gained personal insight and have enhanced my self-esteem. Education has been for me, as it can be for our students, the platform which has launched my career and my personal life. With me today are some very special people who have walked with me, sometimes even carried me as I have traveled on my journey along my alternative pathway to success. They are my global village, alluded to in the African proverb which says, "It takes a whole village to raise a child." These people are my virtual village, which was necessary to make me the person, the TNCC president that I am today. And I'd like these people to stand and be recognized. With me are my mother, Ruth Pippins, my sister, Barbara Davis Holder, my children, Rakia, Andrea, and Dakota. And Rakia, I did say your name first. My niece, Tammy, cousins, Joyce and Kevin, lifelong family friend, Mrs. Blaine, my Aunt Dorothy, my Aunt Frankie, and my Uncle Dewey. And those of you who know Uncle Dewey know he does not take off from work, and he took a day off from work to be with me today, and I am so proud. Thank you. These people love me, support me, and help me keep my life in perspective. Now, my mother told me not to mention any more names. And having lived through the experience of having a 13-year-old who doesn't take any of my advice, I'm going to try to listen to what she said today and thank people in categories. With me are some college roommates, my college roommate from many years ago, colleagues from Westchester Community College, colleagues from the EOC Directors Association and the State University of New York, colleagues from the Harvard Education Program, special friends from White Plains, including, I believe, the principal of a school two of my children attended, and new friends to whom the baton of support has been successfully passed: the Chancellor, the State Board, my colleagues, the other VCCS presidents. Last but not least, all of you, my new family here on the peninsula. My local board, which has been supportive every step of the way. And Marge Funk even brings me cheesecake. Those of you who know Marge Funk know I must be doing something right. My church family at Macedonia, which has given me strength, restored my soul every Sunday morning, where Reverend Terrell has encouraged me not only to float above the challenges of life, but also to spread my wings and soar like an eagle. And finally, the beginnings of my new personal support system here on the peninsula, some special friends that I'm smiling at now, whose names I won't mention. The common element among the members of this support system is that most of these friends have also traveled alternative pathways to success. Judge Ramsey, for example, shared his story and moved all of us to tears at the Harvard IEM program when he told us about how he struggled to find reading materials, not having access to a library. Although my inauguration and other inaugurations are generally held earlier in a presidency, it is clear to me that some point 6 or 7 months into the presidency is the best point to hold an inauguration. At this point, the president, the faculty, the staff, the students and administrators, and the community know each other. And in my case, the president can truly appreciate the opportunity afforded her. In fact, I have been truly welcomed by this community. This community has accepted me, a woman, into the inner circles of power. Just a few of these groups include Board of Directors of the Virginia Peninsula Chamber of Commerce, Board of Directors of the Peninsula Advanced Technology Center, Board of Directors, Virginia Economic Development Council, Board of Directors, Sarah Bonwell Hudgens Regional Center, and the Virginia Peninsula Mayors and Chairs, and I'm smiling at some of them as I speak. I wish also to thank the VCCS, which through the Chancellor, Arnie Oliver, in cooperation with the board and the faculty and staff at TNCC, for the new selection process by which I was designated as president. The process of selection reflects the collaborative nature of the successful organization which is evolving today. The newly defined process involved all levels of the college community in determining its future direction. The process itself generated support. I have been the beneficiary of that support. The collaborative nature of the selection process also reflects the nature of the role I envisioned for Thomas Nelson. As I have mentioned in earlier conversations, I see TNCC as the cornerstone of people and economic development on the peninsula, serving both as a catalyst for change and as a change agent. We will continue to collaborate with all of our partners, supporting the vision established by the mayors and chairs led by my new friend Jimmy Easton, along with the VP EDC, making the peninsula competitive as it was in our recent success in bringing Gateway 2000 to our area. We will, as we have for Cannon, Virginia, Lucas Industries, the U.S. Postal Service, and many other firms, provide the pre-employment training for this member of our new community, and we stand prepared to assist them and other organizations in meeting their needs, whether they are for pre-employment training, opportunities to upgrade skills, or to provide an affordable liberal arts education for the children of their employees. Our role in this process is exemplary of my vision for Thomas Nelson, responsive to the needs of his communities, the individual, business, government, and education. We at TNCC will do this through an enhanced recommitment to academic excellence, setting increasingly higher standards for our students while giving them the support they need to meet these standards. We will talk about developing our students, and as an institution, we will model values, perseverance, commitment, discipline, civility, citizenship, along with the emotional and cognitive skills necessary for a productive life. We at TNCC will create alternative pathways following the theme, I believe, set by the National Council of Negro Women's Girls Clubs. Step by step, we reach the heights, lifting as we climb, preparing our students for the future academically and personally. We will not say, look to the left, look to the right, one of you will not be here next semester. We will prepare our students for the workforce of the future by encouraging them to look to the left, look to the right, look in front, look behind you to create a team, their virtual village, so that all the members of their village, their team will be successful, not just next semester, but next year and in life. This small example emphasizes our belief that a world-class education requires a focus on process as well as content. That the process by which an individual is educated is as important as the content of his or her education. You cannot teach an individual to think by drilling rote facts. You cannot teach students to cooperate by encouraging a competitive learning environment. Our processes will encourage cooperation, decision-making, problem-solving, and critical thinking. It is our belief that by preparing individuals, transforming individual lives, we become part of a powerful force for the transformation of our society as a whole. At Thomas Nelson, we have outstanding faculty who continue to receive state and national recognition for their accomplishments, and who will continue to provide options for students who want a world-class liberal arts education at an affordable price. In fact, our current research indicates that students transferring from TNCC perform as well and sometimes better than the students in their receiving institutions. We at Thomas Nelson are moving along our organizational path to success, building on a strong foundation laid by the work of outstanding faculty. These faculty are joined by outstanding staff, administrators, and students. Together, we have formulated our working vision for the year 2001. It is Thomas Nelson meets the educational needs of the community and the workforce of the future through a superior learning and technologically advanced environment. Graduates are prepared to excel in the workplace or a four-year college and contribute to the rapid and prolonged growth of the peninsula. We have prioritized the elements of our vision so that we focus on student retention, our management system, technology, the work and learning environment, diversity, and resource development. We at TNCC are, as we say in our literature, on the move. In this short span of time, we have developed our shared values and vision, developed a working strategic plan, made the tough decisions with the support of our chancellor and state board to make a significant investment in technology. We have outsourced our bookstore, creating a better environment for our students. We are in the process of renovating our facilities. In process are a new student center with upgrading dining areas, a new conference center with 30-seat and 90-seat centers, a remodeled financial aid suite with a student service waiting area, expanded testing and assessment space, a remodeled library. We have a new instructional support services building in the works, and we are planning for a Williamsburg campus. I invite all of you back in the late spring when the renovations are completed for another celebration and further evidence of our commitment to be an even stronger partner in the total package, which makes the peninsula an excellent place in which to live, work, learn, and raise a family. It is not often in life that you have the experience of hearing another individual capture succinctly the emotions you are feeling about an impending event. In this case, my inauguration. Me, and my sister can relate to this, the small town girl from Indiana. I had just such an experience a few days ago as I sat and listened to Flora Crittenden share her feelings upon the inauguration of a school in her honor. I was so struck by her words and the degree to which they captured my feelings about being selected and today inaugurated as the 5th president of Thomas Nelson Community College that I asked her permission to adapt a portion of her remarks to share with you today. Would you stand, Flora? I share today with Flora the feeling that this is the most exciting, heartfelt day of my life. I wish to thank each of you for taking time on this, a day of worship and rest, to witness and participate in my inauguration. To my colleagues and friends, elected officials and dignitaries, I am appreciative of your support on this, my special day. Although I'm extremely proud of this eminent honor, which recognizes my contributions to education and my community, I know that I have never achieved anything without the help of others. God is gracious and gives freely of his gifts. My gifts have been my extraordinary family, who have always offered love and guidance, my friends and co-workers who have given support and encouragement in my personal and professional efforts, my wonderful students who have allowed me to enter their lives and to work with them as they learned and matured. I have derived great strength from these persons, and because of them, doors have opened for me. No man is an island, no woman stands alone. God moves mankind, his deeds to perform. In closing, I'd like to say thank you to the Chancellor, the State Board, my local board, the faculty, staff, administration, and students, the entire peninsula, and above all, God, for the opportunity to share my talents, my vision to make a difference. There is no greater joy, no greater purpose in life. Thank you.
Thank you. That was wonderful. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us today. And on behalf of the college and the board, we would invite you to join us in a reception in the lobby immediately following the ceremony today, and give you an opportunity to meet our new president up close and personal.
And now on this special day, and all the days before us, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.
All I can say is, wow, that was special.